Hi. Sunday night here in South Florida. What I wrote about today is a long time ago, and when you say long time ago, sometimes you think, well, it must have been 100 years ago, but maybe some people think it was. For me, it was back in the '80s. I started with a company. I was a financial advisor, 1983, and we got pretty close. All the people in the office. We had probably 20, 22 people to begin with. We grew to about 35, 36. But we all knew each other, and we all worked together, and we all shared, and we all helped each other, and we did everything we could to make each other successful. Very much like this company that I'm in. And one of the things that always came up when people would come in, they'd say, "Well, gee, you did a lot of weighted production this week. At two, three, 400,000 weighted production. How'd you do it?" And you say, "Well, I used to do this. I used to look for clients this way. I used to do this type of client farming, and it worked so well that I stopped doing it because I heard about all these new ways." And so we had this thing in the office that we call "it worked so well I stopped doing it." And I thought about that, and I was thinking that we all have things that we find and we see that people are doing that work well, and yet we're always looking for that new thing, that grass is always greener thing. And then we get started with it, and it doesn't work quite as well as we would like it to because we're not emulating the person that we wanted to emulate, or our emulation is not coming through. And so we go on to the next thing, and we spend money on another one, and we try that program, and that doesn't work as well. And so one of the things that I thought about is that we really need to do the things that we know work. We need to find the ways to do the things that we want to get to the end that we want. And that is, if you're going to work for yourself at home, online, and you're not an expert, then what you need is a mentor. It's not a new process, but it is extremely important. Every successful person has had someone help them along the way and train them. So that's all it is. And it's not a crutch, it's not anything else. It is necessary, and it's something that you really want. One of the things that you're going to find if you do make the jump, and you should, is that you're going to be able to learn, and it's going to take a few months, but you're going to feel confident after a while so that you can be the mentor and you can have a mentee. And you can then help them to learn. And one of the funny things about teaching, and I don't know if you know this, if you've been a teacher, but one of the funny things about teaching is the more you teach, the more you learn. And it is a truism, and it's pretty cool because if somebody asks you about something and has a problem, and you sit and figure out the problem with them, your mind, here again we're going from the mind, your self number one to self number two. Self number one says, "Gee, I don't know the answer to that. Let's see if we can figure it out." And right in the middle of it, self number two kicks in, and all of a sudden you realize you have all of the assets to answer the question. And as you answer the question, it blossoms, it blooms, and you come out with other reasons, other answers, and more in depth, so that you learn something that your mind is teaching you. Again, let me say that. You learn something that your mind is teaching you. Your inner self is teaching you. These are things that your inner self knows and your inner self has learned because you've seen it, you know it works, but your outer self, your self one, has misgivings, doesn't trust, lots of things like that. But once you drop those barriers, your inner self, your inner being says, "I can do that. I know how to do that." So that's one of the things that I've learned, and certainly I want everybody's learned that. Everybody knows it. If you haven't learned it, it's inside you. You just have to visually and emotionally see it because it's there. You're going to do it. So once you're a mentor to someone else, you're going to be on the teaching end, and you're going to find that as you teach, you learn. The only way you're ever going to be able to do this business is to jump in, do things, on a daily basis. You have to blog, you have to do all those things. You have to publish, you have to learn where to publish, you have to learn how to get it and backlinks. You got to learn all these things. They all come one piece at a time. You don't have to learn everything at once. You do it one piece at a time, then it grows, and then you go on to the next piece. After a while, they fit together like a puzzle. So when you take a jigsaw puzzle and you dump it out on the table, you don't know unless when you looked at the picture on the box, so you know the end result. But how to get there when you look at all those pieces on the table, you're not sure. You have to get the first few pieces in place before you can start assembling the other pieces around it. And that's precisely what happens here. Once you get started doing your blog and start understanding and reading and learning from all of the processes that you have for your educational program that you get through the company, then you start to see, this is how it works, and that's when it becomes revelatory to you, and you say, my gosh, I know a lot more than I thought, because learning is a process that can be exhilarating or it can be hard. And if it's hard, then you need to have the mentor to help you through those things. That's the reason for all these things. Once it becomes exhilarating to you all the time, you can't get enough of it. Anyway, read today's blog, and please get back to me, comment on it, and let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. Let me know if I can mentor you in any way, or just get you started in the program and get you going. Let's get you right in and get you moving, start earning, and I'll talk to you soon, okay? Thanks. Bye-bye.